Hello everyone, and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be looking at 4.2, relating the standard and vertex forms, and we have a special name for this that we call completing the square. So we're going to be writing a quadratic given in standard form, and we're going to be writing this into vertex form. So a quadratic relation written in the form, which we have as standard form, we can write as y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. And we can write this into vertex form, which is equal to y is equal to ax minus h squared plus k. So I'm going to take you through each of these individual small steps, and then we're going to look at a question with all these steps put together. So the first step to complete the square of this equation is to factor out the greatest common factor from both the x squared and x term only. So for example, if we rewrite our question or our equation as y equals 2x squared plus 12x minus 3, we only focus on the x squared and this x term. Looking at this, we can see that the greatest common factor of 2 and 12 is the number of 2. Okay, so that greatest common factor is going to be equal to 2. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, just in terms of the number is what we look at. So in this case, it is that 2. What we can do is divide each of these by 2, and we are going to be given a value of y equals, we factor out that 2. These cancel each other out. That we're left with x squared plus 6x inside our bracket, and then we do our subtract 3. Okay, so our next step is that we must find the constant that must be added and subtracted to create a perfect square. So to find this, we have 2 steps. We're going to take the coefficient of the x term, take half of that coefficient, and then square it. Okay, so I'm going to show you exactly how we do that. So we're going to have our equation. We're just going to rewrite it over here of y equals 2x squared plus 6x minus 3. So we're going to look at the term or the coefficient in front of the x. In this case, it is that positive 6. Okay, so we're going to always look at that x term. What we're going to do is we're going to half it. Okay, so we're going to take 6 divided by 2, and that's going to equal to 3. And after we do that, we are going to square that number that we just found. So we're going to take that 3, and we're going to square it. And this is going to give us a value of 9. So with these 2 numbers here, so this 9 is where we want to focus now. What we do is we add that into our equation. So we have y is equal to 2x squared plus 6x. And with this 9 here, what we add is we do our plus 9 and we do minus 9. And we copy that minus 3 on the outside. The positive sign will always come first when we write this. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to group these 3 terms together in this bracket, and we're going to move the subtracted term to the outside by multiplying by this 2 at the front. Okay, so how this is going to look, we can rewrite our equation of y equals 2x squared plus 6x plus 9 minus 9 minus 3. So we want to take this minus 9 out of this set of brackets. Okay, we're going to bring it out here. Before we can do that, we have to multiply it by that greatest constant at the front there. So we have to multiply this by 2. How this is going to look is that we have y equals 2x squared plus 6x plus 9, and we can close our bracket. And then we're going to have our minus 3 that we're going to copy. minus 9 times minus 2 is that minus 18. What we can do is clean up the outside there and simplify those numbers. Minus 3 minus 18 is a value of minus 21. And the last thing that we can do is find the perfect square and collect these like terms. So what we can do in this case is that we can look back here at our step number 1 of this positive 3. So to find this perfect square, what we can do is use the half it. I'll put these in quotations, the half it value. And in this case, it's that value of positive 3. So what we can do with our equation is that inside the set of brackets here, what we can simply do is have our y is equal to 2. And instead of doing all the factoring, we can write x plus 3, minus 21 on the outside. Okay, we do this x plus 3 because we have that half value of 3. And we can simplify this to y equals 2x plus 3 squared minus 21. And there's going to be our equation in our vertex form. So again, with our vertex form, you can find the vertex of this relation. Okay, we can also find the maximum or minimum without graphing just by looking at that equation. Okay, I'm just going to clean this up a bit. X plus 3 squared. And you can see this is in our vertex form. Okay, looking at our next example here, we're going to go through the steps just a little bit quicker. It might be a little bit simpler if we just put them all together. Okay, so we're going to rewrite this equation in vertex form by completing the square. So we have our equation of y is equal to x squared plus 8x plus 15. So we're going to look at these first two terms and see what greatest common factor, that greatest common number that we can factor out. So if this is a 1 and that's our 8, that greatest number is going to be a 1 in this case. So again, you can divide this by 1 and divide that by 1. We can now put our set of brackets around x squared plus 8x. And at the front here is just an invisible 1 that we don't need to write. Okay, so after we put these two terms in brackets, we have our plus 15. Now we're going to look at this term right beside, or the coefficient right beside the x, and it's our positive 8. Okay, so again, always look at that x term. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to half it. Okay, so step 1 is going to be that positive 8 divided by 2, and that's going to be a value of 4. After we half it, we are going to square it. So we're going to take this 4, and we're going to square it, and we're going to get a value of 16. So we can add this 16 now inside our brackets. So we have y is equal to x squared plus 8x. We always put the plus first, plus 16 minus 16 plus 15 on the outside there. And we want to get this negative outside the bracket, so we're going to bring it over here. We always have to multiply by the coefficient at the front here. So in this case, we just have to multiply it by 1. So it's a little bit easier in this question. Okay, we can simplify this to y equals x squared plus 8x plus 16. When we bring this minus 16 times 1, that's going to simply just be our negative 16. So we have our y is equal to x squared plus 8x plus 16. And plus 15 minus 16 is simply just our minus 1. So now to factor inside here to get this into vertex form, again, remember we're going to use that half it value, okay, which is our positive 4 right here. So you can factor this, you can do your MAM, but we can simply just jump right to here, and we can write this as y equals x plus 4. This is a positive 4. X plus 4. Because we have the same bracket twice, we can simply write this as x plus 4 squared minus 1. And there's our equation in our vertex form. So thank you all for watching this video. That concludes our lesson.